Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and salam sejahtera for all of us. First and foremost, we, the elders, would like to show our gratitude as our paper, Order and Finish It, Understanding Consumers' Food Waste Prevention Behavior in Casual Restaurant, has been accepted to be one of the papers to be presented in the second International Conference of Multidisciplinary Studies at Stikubank University this year. So in this presentation, we will go through each of essential part within our paper, from introduction, literature review, and how the hypotheses are developed, the questionnaire development along with the research method, result, discussion, to indeed the conclusion. So let's start with the introduction. As we all may know that the solid waste is actually a serious problem nowadays. Not only plastic waste, but also the food waste. This problem is totally crucial both in global context and in national or Indonesian context. United Nations has found that globally around 931 million of food have gone to waste every year, in which of course it is a big number. Turn into the national or Indonesian context, each Indonesian has been estimated to waste 300 kilograms of food every year. This fact has placed Indonesia to be the second most food waste country in the world. Of course, it is a bad achievement. Additionally, it has been calculated as well that the annual food waste in Indonesia reached 5 to 19 million tons, which 44% of the number is actually decent food, which means the food that is wasted actually can be consumed still. Additionally, not only damaging the environment, this problem, the food waste problem, also brings substantial economic loss, which equals to 5% of Indonesian annual gross domestic products, or GDP. Therefore, the issue is totally crucial to be talked, to be prevented, and also to be solved properly. Some studies have discovered a strong connection between food waste and the hospitality industry. For example, it is found that the hospitality industry serves 1 billion food orders every year, which potentially became the major food waste contributor. Also, it is known that the hospitality industry is being the primary cause of 12% to 14% of food waste in the world. Therefore, it can be concluded that food waste is closely related and being the crucial issue in the hospitality sector. Realizing the close relationship between the tourism and hospitality sector, the food waste issue will be more crucial, as we know that the tourism industry grows and so does the hospitality industry, which by logical consequences will also increase the amount of food waste. What makes it more complicated is that implementing food waste management in restaurant is often more expensive than simply throwing the food away. In other words, dealing with this problem and deciding the appropriate solution are totally challenging. In terms of aim, considering aforementioned fact, this study bases its argument on several studies. We know that besides being influenced by the hospitality industry business strategy, hospitality industry consumers' behavior related to food waste is strongly affected by their motivation to choose food, or the food choice motives. It has been explained that in the hospitality industry, food choice motives can influence consumers' intent to not waste food. Therefore, using theory of planned behavior, or TPB approach, this current study will examine the food choice motives impact on consumers' intention and their actual behavior in avoiding food waste. What this study offers as a novelty is that this study focuses on casual restaurant setting, which commonly known as rumah makan Indonesia. This setting is different from the previous study from Tang et al. In 2022, which also examines the effect consumers' food choice motives, in which the restaurant categorizes, the restaurant category is not being specified. And also, this study will contribute in theoretical and practical context by enriching the body of knowledge of the hospitality industry, and also will offer practical suggestions for related stakeholders to develop the food waste initiatives in the casual restaurant setting. Now, we will elaborate the literature review and how we develop the hypothesis. It has been known that motive is a mental state which can influence human behavior through particular conditions. It has been explained that consumers' motive can impact their behavioral intention. TPB, has long explained this argument that human motivation and intention can be used to foresee or to predict human behavior. TPB elaborates that attitude toward behavior, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control are the consumer's intention predictors. Specifically, attitude toward the behavior means one's evaluation of whether a particular action will be beneficial or not, while the subjective norms is a social pressure that becomes one evaluation to conduct or not to conduct particular actions. TPB also explains that perceived behavioral control refers to one's consideration in determining whether the particular behavior can be done easily or not. So in this study, food choice motives refer to several factors that can motivate consumers to choose particular food to eat. It has been found that food choice motives, comparing to other factors that influence one choice, have stronger connection to the consumer's food selection in the restaurant. Further, the restaurant consumers' willingness not to waste food in this current study relates to an action to not waste food during or after the dining process. Some studies have found that food choice motives have an influence on sustainable food consumption behavior, including avoiding food waste. Therefore, based on former studies and the lens of theory of planned behavior, food choice motives, namely sensory appeal, price sensitivity, health and safety concerns, as well as ethical concerns, have been identified, which possibly relate to the consumer's intention in avoiding food waste. The TPB predictors in this study are then equal with the four aforementioned food choice motives, specifically sensory appeal, including visuality of the food, taste of the food, aroma, and also the food texture, contextualized as perceived behavioral control, as it is found that sensory appeal can become one's consideration in determining whether a particular behavior can be done easily or not. The sensory appeal, also known, will drive consumers to not waste food. Therefore, it is hypothesized that sensory appeal significantly and positively influences consumers' intention to not waste food in restaurant. As the second food choice motives, price is consumers' evaluation of whether or not a food purchase is worth buying. Research explains that consumers with a high degree of sensitivity tend to not waste the food, as they usually buy the food in adequate quantities or based on their need. This study, based on the TPB approach, then contextualizes price sensitivity with attitude toward behavior. Also, safety and health concern on food is also the consumer's evaluation in purchasing products or food. In the context of food consumption, safety and health concerns are valuable factors for the consumers, which equalizes safety and health concerns as attitudes toward behavior through the lens of TPB. Studies explain that consumers' willingness to finish their food is also influenced by their consideration of food safety and health. Therefore, this study hypothesizes that price sensitivity significantly and positively influence consumers' intent to not waste food in a restaurant, as well as it is also hypothesizes that health and safety concerns significantly and positively influences consumers' intent to not waste food. This study incorporates subjective norms and perceived behavioral control as ethical concerns that can drive consumers to prevent food waste. Research also finds that ethical concerns can drive consumers not to waste food, as it is believed that this can have a negative impact and consequently damage the environment. Therefore, it is hypothesized that ethical concern significantly and positively influences consumers' intent to not waste food. Because it is believed that intention can form behavior, this study also suggests that consumers with the purpose of not wasting food in the restaurant will likely have the actual food waste prevention behavior during their dining or post-dining process. Some previous studies have affirmed that some previous studies have affirmed the significant influence of intent for not wasting food on the food waste prevention behavior. As an example, it is found that intention to not waste food forms families' actual behavior in avoiding food waste, which drives this research, indicating the intention to predict consumers' actual action to prevent food waste. Studies also found the strong effect of consumers' intent to not waste food toward the consumer's actual behavior in preventing food waste. While it has been found that consumers who waste food in a restaurant often order meal inadequately, oppositely, it explains that consumers who conduct the food waste prevention behavior usually ask for takeaway boxes to bring the leftovers home and order food based on their need only. Therefore, it is hypothesized that customers intend to not waste food significantly and positively influences actual food waste prevention behavior. Based on TPB, this research also suggests that the intent to not waste food will mediate the relation between food choice motives and food waste prevention behavior in restaurants. Consumers with vigorous motives related to particular behavior will much more likely conduct the behavior. A previous study has confirmed that sensory appeal, price sensitivity, health and safety concerns, and ethical concerns have become important predictors for environmentally friendly food consumption behavior. Therefore, this study hypothesizes for mediating effects that customer intention not to not waste food mediates the relation between sensory appeal, price sensitivity, health and safety concerns, as well as ethical concerns and actual food waste prevention behavior. So this is the research model that is proposed in our paper. Let's move into the questionnaire development. The questionnaire has been developed based on previous studies to gather the data. The questionnaire consists of two parts, in which the first part is asking the demographic and consumers dine out behavior, and the second part includes all the questions regarding the research instruments. In total, respondents are asked to answer 23 questions, which consist of 3 questions for the sensory appeal, 4 questions for the price sensitivity, 5 questions for the health and safety concern, 5 questions also for ethical consideration, 4 questions for intent to not waste food, as well as 4 questions for food waste prevention behavior. Those 23 questions are asked through a 5-point Likert scale, and the questionnaire is distributed online through Google Form. Through the purposive sampling, there are 587 casual restaurant consumers have involved in this study as the respondents. Further, the data analysis was conducted in Smart Palace 329 software, in which the data validity and reliability have been evaluated, and the research hypotheses have been tested through the software. So this is the result of our analysis data or data analysis. The study population are those who have dined out with family and friends in restaurants, specifically casual restaurants in Indonesia, different from other classifications such as luxury restaurant or fine dining restaurant or fast food restaurants. Casual restaurants have a moderate price, semi-standardized varied menus, and also an informal atmosphere. Within an Indonesian context, casual restaurant in this study is equalized with rumah makan, as both have a similar characteristics. Rumah makan is a common restaurant in Indonesia. Therefore, it is assumed that it will be easy to find the respondent who dine out along with family and friends. As we can see in the table, the majority of respondents are women, 339 respondents, while men are 248 respondents. In context of age category, 18 to 29 years old category is 339 respondents in total, followed by other categories respectively. And in terms of occupation, the respondents are dominated by students, followed by the private sector employees. And in terms of income, the highest income category is below 3,500,000 rupiah. While this is the dining out behavior, as we can see in the table, that the highest category is 1 to 4%, both for number of family and friends usually dining out with. Turning into data analysis, to measure the construct reliability and validity, the 4-step processes to evaluate the research instrument are being used. This method is actually common to be used in Smart PLS method. The first step is evaluating the indicator reliability by measuring the outer loading. It has been explained that as a rule of thumb, the outer loading should be 0.708 or higher. As can be seen in the table, all of the instruments based on the rule of thumb can be categorized to have significant outer loadings as its value is higher than 0.708. This table shows the other unit of analysis. Chromebox alpha and composite reliability are measured in the second step to evaluate the internal consistency reliability, while the acceptable value of Chromebox alpha is not less than 0.70. The composite reliability values to be stated as having internal consistency reliability is supposed to be higher than 0.60. The table shows that Chromebox alpha's value for all instruments are higher than the rule of thumb, which can be concluded to fulfill the standard value. The table also shows the composite reliability values of each instrument, which are higher than the rule of thumb, which is 0.60. Therefore, it can be summarized that the research instruments have internal consistency reliability. For evaluating the construct validity, the measurement of average variance extractor or AVE and the Forner-Laker criterion is also being conducted. While the AVE measurement evaluates convergent validity, Forner-Laker criterion is measuring the discriminant validity. The data shows that AVE values for all instruments are higher than 0.50 as the minimum value. Also, based on the Forner-Laker criterion values in the table, it can be seen that each instrument has a satisfactory value as it shows a higher number than its correlation with other instruments. We can see the number with the bold. Therefore, from the data analysis, it can be concluded that each instrument possesses adequate validity value. So we can move into the hypothesis testing. And this is the result of our hypothesis testing, which shows both the main effect from hypothesis 1 to hypothesis 5 and the mediating effects from hypothesis 6.1 to hypothesis 6.4 as a result of bootstrapping process in Smart PLS software. Through the bootstrapping process, it has been found that the R square of intention to not waste food is 0.268 and the R square for food waste prevention behavior is 0.551. Through the table, it can be concluded that sensory appeal, price sensitivity, health and safety concern, along with ethical concern are positively and significantly influence the intention to not waste food. Also, the intention to not waste food is also positively and significantly influencing the food waste prevention behavior, as the testing shows the 0.000 p values, which is lower than 0.005. Therefore, it can be concluded that the hypothesis testing supports the hypothesis 1, hypothesis 2, hypothesis 3, hypothesis 4, and the hypothesis 5. Also, the table indicates that hypothesis 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, and the 6.4 are also supported. it is found that the intention to not waste food mediates the relation of sensory appeal, price sensitivity, health and safety concern, and also the ethical concern to the food waste prevention behavior, in which, as we can see, the p values in the table lower than 0.005. Through the theoretical underpinning of TPB, the current study has evaluated the construct of how food choice motives influence the customer's food waste prevention behavior. This study has sampled casual restaurant customers, and it is found that sensory appeal, price sensitivity, health and safety concerns, along with the ethical concerns, have a significant and positive influence on the customer's intention to not waste food, which will also lead to the actual behavior of food waste prevention. The finding enrich the utilization of TPB in understanding customers' actual behavior on food waste prevention in the context of dine out in the casual restaurant. This study also confirms some previous studies elaborating that sensory appeal, sensitivity toward the price, consideration of food health and safety, as well as ethics, have a strong influence and become the essential predictor of customers' intent to not waste food, which continuously leads consumers to the actual behavior of food waste prevention. This study has also evaluated the integration between food choice motives and measurement in theory of planned behavior, in which sensory appeal and consideration of ethics are conceptualized as the perceived behavioral control, price sensitivity and consideration of food health and safety as the attitude, and also ethical consideration is conceptualized as a subjective norm. Significantly, this study can contribute to both theoretical and practical implications. So there will be a theoretical and practical contributions. First, this study can be stated as the first hospitality study explaining the strong relations of food choice motives, intention, and food waste prevention behavior within a casual restaurant setting in Indonesia. Secondly, through the mediating effect measurement, the study also elaborates the direct, significant, and positive relationship between the food choice motives and customers' actual behavior to prevent food waste. Also, the study recalls previous conducted food waste studies, which explain that actual behavior will be influenced by customers' intention. Consequently, consumers with high intention of avoiding food waste will likely conduct food waste prevention behavior, which means improving the consumer intention will play a crucial role. Simply put, increase the intention, then the behavior, the intention to do the behavior will increase as well. As the practical implication, the restaurants are completely recommended to highlight the customer's food choice motives. As an example, the restaurant can prepare and serve the food in an appetizing way, which will increase consumers' intention to finish their food completely. However, if the restaurant cannot implement the former strategy, the first one, the restaurant can focus on the food health benefit. For example, food nutrition can be explained through the food menu. The free meal box for leftover food can also be offered to the customers, along with an explanation on how to treat it or how to re-prepare it at home. In the context of price sensitivity, the restaurant can the restaurant can offer special price for the consumers. Otherwise, the extra charge based on food leftover can also be implemented. And the last strategy that is recommended for the casual restaurant in implementing the food waste program is to enhance the patron's ethical concerns. The restaurant can use promotion media to explain their conducted pro-environmental program or pro-environmental initiatives. So, this study has discovered a strong relationship between consumers' food choice motives, intention not to waste food, and actual behavior in preventing food waste in the casual restaurant or rumah makan setting in Indonesia. This study has confirmed the integration of 4 different motives in choosing food, which are sensory appeal, price sensitivity, food health and safety, consideration and ethical concerns into the TPB instruments, which are attitude toward behavior, perceived behavioral control, and subjective norm. Even though the current study offers valuable contributions, it cannot be denied that the study still possesses some limitations which are essential for future studies. As explained previously, the R square for intention not to waste food is only 0.268, which can be categorized as low, and the R square for food waste prevention behavior is 0.551, which is the moderate category. So this indicates that although food choice motives can positively and significantly influence the customer's intent to not waste food, there is still a need to add more relatable instrument to enhance the R square. And also, it is suggested that the future study should examine food waste avoidance action in home settings because of the crucial increasing trend of the utilization of food delivery mobile apps, which can facilitate the restaurant patrons ordering food at the restaurant but eat it at home. So these are our references. So thank you for giving us a valuable opportunity to disseminate our research. We indeed this can give a contribution. I mean, this study can give it a contribution to the study of food waste in context of hospitality industry in Indonesia. So with this study, we hope that our contribution can be used to understand the problem, the food waste problem, and also will lead us to find a proper solution to fight the food waste problem in Indonesia. So thank you very much. This is the end of our paper presentation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.